Hey everyone and welcome back to the channel. We've got some breaking news just coming in, and if you're someone who depends on social grants from SASSA, or you have a family member or friend who does, you'll want to stick around for every second of this video. We're talking about the newly released SASSA 2025/2026 payment schedule, what it means for millions of South Africans, what changes have been implemented compared to the previous year, and what you need to know to stay ahead and avoid any confusion or delays. This is not just important, it's absolutely essential information, especially in times when every rand counts more than ever before. So get comfortable, maybe grab a pen and paper, and let's get into the full breakdown of everything SASSA just announced. First off, let's set the stage. SASSA, which stands for the South African Social Security Agency, is responsible for distributing social grants across the country, covering everything from older persons' pensions to disability grants, child support, foster care, and of course, the special SRD grant, which has played a massive role since the pandemic. For millions of South Africans, these payments are a lifeline. They aren't just numbers on a page, they represent food on the table, school fees, transport, and sometimes even the ability to stay connected with loved ones through mobile data. And now, as we step into the 2025/2026 financial year, the new official payment calendar is finally out. It gives beneficiaries a clear roadmap to when they can expect their money, helping families plan ahead with certainty. Now, the release of this calendar is always one of the most anticipated announcements in the country. And this time around, SASSA has made a few key changes to not only improve transparency but also efficiency. According to their statement, the new schedule has been developed in close coordination with the National Treasury and the Department of Social Development to ensure that the flow of funds is uninterrupted, even during public holidays or periods of high banking congestion. That means, ideally, no more missed payments, no more last-minute panic at ATMs, and less standing in long lines outside post offices or grant payment centers. So let's go ahead and look at the actual dates themselves. This year, as with previous years, SASSA has structured the payment system to roll out grants in a staggered fashion. This means different types of grants will be paid on different days to avoid overwhelming the system. Older persons' grants will continue to be paid first, followed by disability grants, and then all other grants including child support and foster care will come after that. This tiered approach is designed to prioritize senior citizens and people living with disabilities, who are often the most vulnerable and in need of quicker access. For April 2025, the payment dates are as follows: older persons will receive their grants on Wednesday the 2nd of April, disability grants will be paid out on Thursday the 3rd, and all other grants will be released starting Friday the 4th. For May, older persons' grants will be paid on the 5th, disability grants on the 6th, and all other grants on the 7th. This 3-day cycle continues throughout the year, with the first week of every month dedicated to grant payments. So make sure to mark your calendar accordingly, especially if you rely on these funds as your main or only source of income. SASSA has also highlighted a few months where public holidays might affect the standard schedule. For instance, in December 2025, because of Christmas and the Day of Goodwill, payments will be brought forward slightly to avoid disruptions. In that month, older persons' grants will be paid as early as Monday, December 1st, disability grants on Tuesday the 2nd, and all other grants on Wednesday the 3rd. That's a very welcome adjustment, especially as December is typically a high expense month for many households. But it's not just about the dates. SASSA has also emphasized some big operational changes that are coming into effect alongside this calendar. One of the key improvements is the rollout of a more advanced digital notification system. Beneficiaries who have registered their mobile numbers with SASSA will now receive SMS reminders 2 days before their payment date, which will include the exact amount being paid and a unique confirmation code for security. This aims to reduce fraud, eliminate confusion, and give people a sense of assurance that their grant is on the way. Another improvement is the streamlining of bank payment processing. Previously, beneficiaries who chose to receive payments directly into their bank account sometimes experienced delays, especially if their bank had technical issues. For the 2025-2026 period, SASSA has signed new agreements with all major banks to prioritize SASSA grant transfers in their internal systems. What does that mean in real terms? It means faster access to your money and fewer technical problems on payment day. Plus, you won't necessarily need to rush to the ATM at the crack of dawn. Funds will clear earlier in the morning than before. SASSA has also acknowledged the need to support beneficiaries in more remote or rural areas where access to banking and technology is limited. To address this, they are expanding their mobile pay point units, which will be dispatched to underserved communities based on a new geo-mapping tool. This tool identifies where clusters of beneficiaries are concentrated and schedules payment visits to those areas accordingly. This ensures that even if you live in a far-flung village or small town without a bank or post office, you'll still have a reliable and scheduled way to receive your grant. Now, for those wondering whether the actual grant amounts have changed for 2025-2026, here's the update. At the time of this announcement, no additional increases to the monthly social grant amounts have been announced beyond what was detailed in the national budget earlier this year. That means the older person's grant remains at $2,180 for individuals below age 75 and $2,200 for those above 75. Disability grants are at $2,180, and child support grants continue at $530 per child per month. Foster care grants remain at around $1,180. While these amounts are modest and do not always meet the full needs of beneficiaries, they remain a vital support system for households under economic pressure. There is, however, an ongoing discussion in Parliament and within the Department of Social Development about the potential implementation of a universal basic income grant in the coming years. This would be a separate payment designed to address systemic unemployment and poverty. While it's still in the research and planning phase, insiders say the model being proposed could eventually replace the current SRD grant, which is still active for now. For 2025, the SRD grant of $350 per month continues for qualifying individuals, and those who wish to apply or reapply are encouraged to use the official SASSA website or WhatsApp channels to avoid falling victim to scams. Speaking of scams, SASSA has once again warned beneficiaries to be cautious. With every grant payment cycle, there's always an uptick in criminal activity, from phishing messages pretending to be SASSA to people offering to speed up payments for a fee. SASSA reiterates that it does not charge any fees for grant applications, and all communication will come only from official government platforms. If you ever receive a suspicious message or are asked to hand over your ID or banking details, report it immediately to the SASSA fraud hotline. It's better to be safe than sorry, especially when your livelihood is on the line. Let's also take a quick moment to talk about how to ensure your grant payment is not delayed or rejected. SASSA has implemented stricter data verification protocols for the 2025-2026 year. That means you need to make sure your contact details, ID number, and banking info are 100% correct and match your Home Affairs records. Any discrepancy, even a simple typo in your name, could cause delays. Beneficiaries are urged to log into their online profile on the SASSA website or visit a local office to confirm or update their details. If you moved to a new address, changed banks, or changed phone numbers recently, it's absolutely critical that you update your profile as soon as possible. Now, let's talk briefly about the broader context. South Africa is facing a tough economic landscape. Inflation continues to pressure low-income households, and unemployment remains a major issue. In this environment, SASSA grants have become more important than ever, not just as safety nets, but as tools of survival. According to recent stats, over 18 million South Africans receive some form of SASSA assistance. That's more than 1 in 4 citizens. This highlights just how vital it is to get these payments out on time, every time, and to keep the system running smoothly. For beneficiaries with disabilities or chronic health conditions, grant payments are even more than a survival tool. They enable access to transportation, medication, caregivers, and basic dignity. For pensioners, the older person's grant often supports not just the recipient, but entire households including grandchildren and unemployed adult children. And for caregivers, the child support grant is often the difference between a child going to school with a lunchbox or going hungry. That's why announcements like this one are so much more than bureaucratic updates. They're news that impacts real lives, every single month. So, what can you do now? First, share this video with anyone you know who receives a SASSA grant. Let them know the dates, the changes, and what to watch out for. Second, check your personal details with SASSA and make sure everything is accurate and up to date. Third, consider setting up a direct deposit into your own bank account if you haven't already. This is still the most secure and efficient way to receive your funds. And finally, keep watching this channel for all the latest updates. We're here to help you stay informed, protected, and one step ahead of the game. If you've got questions about how to apply, how to check your status, or what to do if a payment is late, drop them in the comments below. I'll be replying to as many as I can, and you can bet we'll be doing more deep dives into all things SASSA in future videos. Whether it's SRD extensions, grant increases, or new legislation coming down the pipeline, we'll keep you updated every step of the way. Thanks for sticking with me all the way to the end. If you found this video helpful, please don't forget to hit that like button. It really helps us reach more people who need this information. And if you're new here, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. We've got a lot more content coming your way. Until next time, take care, stay safe, and remember, information is power, especially when it comes to your money.